Good morning, everyone. It's Jana with Stamped in Ink coming to you from my craft room. I wanted to come on today and show you how to create this cute fun fold. We created this fun fold during Thursday's Creative Thursday class on June the 5th, but I wanted to give some clearer instructions on how to create this cute fun fold. This is the card that we created during our live class, and you can find the video on YouTube with the other projects, and I will also have the measurements and instructions for this on my blog, stampedinink.com. So this is the card that we created, and this is an alternate card that we're going to create today, and I'm going to show you a little more clear instructions on how to create this card. All right, so let's get started. I'm going to set this card over here to the side so you all can see it, see what we're creating. Maybe it might be better if I move it. Well, I'm just going to move it out of the way completely. All right, so this is what we're going to start with. We are starting with a 4 1/4 by 11 piece of Secret Sea cardstock, and we're going to score it at 5.5. Then we have a piece of 3 by 8 piece of Secret Sea cardstock scored at 4. We have 2 pieces of basic white cardstock at 2 3/4 by 3 3/4. And then we have 2 pieces of designer series paper. It's the Florals in Bloom designer series paper, cut at 4 by 5 1/4. All right. So I'm going to move these to the side here, and we're going to start with our card base. I'm going to score the card. I'm going to get my paper trimmer, and I'm going to score the card base at 5.5. I'm going to go ahead and burnish, fold it and burnish it. So we're going to create this flap right here. I'm sorry, let me grab the right one. We're going to create this flap here. So we're going to have to cut this section of the card front off at a diagonal. So I know that I need this section here to be gone. So I'm going to cut this section right here off. And how I'm going to do that is I'm going to take, move this out of the way. I'm going to take my paper trimmer and I'm going to line up, since I want this right section of the card front off, taken off. I'm going to line up the left corner of the card front and the upper right corner where the fold is at inside the channel of my trimmer. And I'm going to move my scoring blade to the top, my cutting blade to the top, so that I can make sure that's lined up well, and then just cut that section off. And there you have your fold, just like that. All right. Then you want to choose your cardstock. Like, I like this with more of the purples, or I could do, I like the section that has more of the designs. So I'm going to take since I know I need this section again, right? I need the left-hand section. I'm going to do just like I did on my cardstock, and imagine that this is the crease this is the fold in my card base. And then so I'm going to take the lower left-hand corner and the upper right-hand corner, and this will ensure that your flowers are in the right direction also. So I'm going to take and I'm going to cut this, move my cutting blade to the top. I'm going to cut Make sure those are lined up in the channel. And I'm going to cut. And then this will give me my layer right here. And my flowers are going all in the right direction. And then you have these two pieces left over. You could create a pocket on the inside of a card with them, whatever you want to, use those scraps for. All right, I'm going to move this to the side and put my tray back under here, sorry. And we're going to go ahead and we're going to build our card. Actually, I'm going to do the stamping first. We have just a little bit of stamping that we're going to do. So I'm going to take one of the 2 3/4 by 3 3/4 pieces of cardstock. And the only thing that we're going to stamp for this card is the sentiment that says, "You make me smile." So I'm going to grab. I like to use a little piece of grid paper on top of my foam, my piercing mat. Piercing mat helps you give a little bit of cushion underneath your photopolymer stamp sets, excuse me, so that you get a crisp image. And I like to use a piece of grid paper on top of that so I know that I can line up my stamp images and I know that they are straight. So I'm just going to stamp that real quick in Secret Sea ink. Then I'm going to grab, I'm using cloud cover. Now the ink, I'm going to use cloud cover ink. You can use any blue that you already have. I just happen to have cloud cover sitting right here. I'm going to use this and a blending brush, and I'm going to circle in the center just under this sentiment. I stamped the sentiment first because I wanted to know exactly where I needed this shading to be. I'm just going to go across the center of this piece of cardstock and make a light shaded background. Because we're going to build these flowers. We're going to build these flowers here, and I want them to pop up against the background. All right, I'm going to set that aside. Now we can go ahead and start building our card. I'm going to grab my silicone sheet because we're going to do some gluing. Okay. My card is going to open this way. The diagonal flap is going to come up. So I want my stripes on my designer series paper to be going upward, horizontal. I'm going to grab my liquid glue and just put some liquid glue on this piece here. And I like to measure from the bottom and make sure that I have equal amounts on the left and right side. And at the bottom, when I lay my layer down, my designer series paper down, so that way I know it's going to be straight and I will have the same amount, the same border size around the edge of the cardstock. All right, I'm going to go ahead and add some glue to our other piece of designer series paper. I love this paper. I love the colors in it. It has so many of the new in colors. And I'm just really enjoying using this bundle also. You just want to make sure that you have the same size border. I think it's about a quarter of an inch or an eighth of an inch all the way around. Okay, so there we have that. Now I'm going to grab this 3 by 8 inch piece of cardstock, and I'm going to just fold that and burnish my edges with my bone folder. Give that a good crease. And this is going to fold like this. It's going to fold up. So you want to just make sure that you give it enough space all the way around. Equal border. So I'm going to put, since I know I want it to fold up this way, make sure that you're putting glue on the right side. So the crease of your cardstock needs to go at the bottom. The fold needs to come at the bottom and your opening at the top. So make sure that you're putting glue on the correct side. I put a card together and put glue on the wrong side. Happens all the time. So I'm going to use the lines also of the designer series paper just to make sure I have it straight. And that looks good to me. And I'm going to go ahead and take my second piece of 2 3/4 by 3 3/4 piece of basic white cardstock, and I'm going to put that on the inside of this Secret C piece so that you can have a place to write your sentiment. Just like that. All right. I'm going to go ahead and we're going to go ahead and build our flowers. So I've taken the dies from the, I believe it's the Pretty Florals. I've taken the dies and gone ahead and cut them out. I used this die to cut out the stems here. So I need the stems, and then I used this die to cut out the large flowers in Bubble Bath. I used Bubble Bath cardstock. The leaves are Garden Green cardstock. So I used Bubble Bath to cut these flowers out using this die. And then I used this die to cut out the outline images for our flowers in excuse me, in Berry Burst, I believe. Yeah, no, Blackberry Bliss is what is the color that I use. So I use Blackberry Bliss cardstock for these. And we're going to go ahead and just put our, if you have a take your pick tool, it really helps to have one for these. So I'm going to go ahead and just add a little bit of glue here to the bottom of my flowers to adhere these outline images. And I'm using my silicone sheet because I don't want to get glue all over my work surface, and the glue doesn't stick. It won't stick to the to your silicone mat. I believe this one goes here, and this one goes on top of this one right there. All right, now I'm going to take my stem. I'm going to add some glue just on the tips of the leaves, and then I'm going to add it to the flowers here. Sticking. Okay, then I'm going to add a little right here to this other stem. And I'm gonna pop that flower on right there. And now I'm gonna add some to the middle stem. And we're gonna pop it on right there. Then we have our flowers, okay? Now I want to grab my Blackberry Bliss marker. You could also do this with ink and a water pen too. I'm going to add just a little bit of ink splatter to my petals here. There we go. Now I want to turn these over. I'm going to add some dimensionals to the backs of our flowers. I'm going to cut some little pieces off the edges for the stems. That one might be too big. There we go. And then we're going to add these right to the center of this stamped cardstock layer. Pull the backings off. Whoops. Hold, please. Okay, I need a smaller one. Let's get something thinner in here. There we go. There we go, that's better. We're going to put those right there. Now I'm going to grab my liquid adhesive again and put some adhesive on the back of this panel. We're going to put it on the front of our card front here. I'm going to add some embellishments with a linen thread bow. I love to make double bows. So I'm going to create, I'm just looping it over to create that double bow. And then I'm making my rabbit ears and running it through the, bringing them back through the hole and then tying it off. And I'm just gonna pull my bow a little bit, get it how I want it, tighten it up. And then we snip this one that we looped over to make the two tails on one side, and then we snip the tails on the other. And then I'm just snipping them off a little bit. I'm going to grab a mini glue dot. Use my take your pick tool and just pull that off of there. And put it in place right here on our card. Then I'm going to grab the 2425 in color flat pearls, and I'm going to use the Pretty in Pink. I know our colors are Bubble Bath and Blackberry Bliss, but I really like how the Pretty in Pink shows up on this with these colors. And Pretty in Pink is also one of the colors in this paper, so in the designer series paper, so it works. And there you go. I hope that this helps you create your own card. If you do, please tag me on social media, hashtag Stamped in Ink. I would love to see your creations, or you can post them in the Stamped in Ink Stampers group page. I would love to see what you create. Thank you so much for watching.